It began with a letter. A simple, yellowed piece of parchment slipped beneath the door of my dilapidated apartment in Kuala Lumpur. The handwriting was ornate, almost archaic, but the message was clear and succinct. If you wish to uncover the truth behind the Ghost Ship of Malacca, meet me at the old docks. Midnight. There was no signature, no indication of the sender. I felt a strange compulsion to follow its instructions. At 33, my life was a series of mundane routines and unmet aspirations. My career as a journalist had plateaued, and the spark of excitement that once drove me had long since dulled. The prospect of investigating the ghost ship, a legend that had fascinated me since childhood, was irresistible. The old docks were a labyrinth of rusting cranes, decaying warehouses, and forgotten memories of a once thriving port. By the time I arrived, the fog had rolled in thick and oppressive, muffling the sounds of the city and rendering the world around me eerily silent. I stood alone, feeling the weight of the past pressing down upon me. Out of the mist emerged a figure cloaked in shadows. He moved with a fluid grace, his footsteps making no sound on the rotting planks. As he approached, the fog seemed to part, revealing a face etched with lines of time and burdened by secrets. "You came," he said, his voice a gravelly whisper. "Good. The ghost ship awaits." He led me to a small, weather-beaten boat moored to the dock. Without a word, we embarked, and the old man whom I noticed bore a striking resemblance to the descriptions of Captain Nathaniel Reed, the legendary pirate, began to row. The sea was calm, yet the air was charged with an almost tangible sense of foreboding. As we ventured further into the Straits of Malacca, the fog grew denser, wrapping around us like a shroud. Hours seemed to pass in silence, broken only by the rhythmic creak of the oars. Then, out of the gloom, a colossal shape materialized: the ghost ship. The vessel was a haunting relic, its once proud sails tattered and torn, the hull encrusted with barnacles and seaweed. It loomed above us, a spectral reminder of a bygone era. The old man secured the boat to a dangling rope ladder and gestured for me to climb. As I ascended, a chill ran down my spine, and the air grew colder with each rung. The deck was deserted, an expanse of rotting wood and rusted cannons. The scent of decay hung heavy in the air, mingling with the briny tang of the sea. "Welcome aboard the Eclipse," the old man said, his eyes gleaming with a strange light. "This ship holds many secrets, and it's time you learned them." He led me below deck, through narrow corridors lined with doors that seemed to whisper as we passed. The air grew colder still, and my breath formed clouds in the dim light. We stopped before a massive iron door, its surface etched with intricate patterns and symbols that seemed to shift and writhe in the shadows. "This," the old man said, "is the heart of the ship. The truth lies within." With a creak that echoed through the corridors, the door swung open, revealing a chamber bathed in an ethereal glow. At its center stood a massive, ornate mirror, its surface rippling like water. Around it, the walls were adorned with maps, charts, and artifacts that spoke of distant lands and forgotten times. The old man approached the mirror and placed a hand on its surface. Instantly, the room was filled with a cacophony of voices, a symphony of whispers that seemed to rise and fall with the rhythm of the sea. "This mirror," he said, his voice barely audible above the din, "is the key. It holds the memories of the Eclipse, the souls of those who perished aboard her, and the secrets they took to their graves. Look into it, and you will see the truth." I hesitated, the weight of the moment pressing down upon me. But curiosity and a sense of destiny propelled me forward. As I gazed into the mirror, the surface began to ripple and shift, and I was drawn into its depths. Suddenly, I was no longer in the chamber. I stood on the deck of the Eclipse, but it was no longer the ghostly relic I had boarded. It was alive, vibrant, and bustling with activity. Sailors moved about with purpose, their faces etched with determination and fear. The air was thick with tension, and the scent of salt and sweat mingled with the acrid tang of gunpowder. A figure stood at the helm, commanding the scene with an air of authority. It was Captain Nathaniel Reed, his eyes burning with a fierce intensity. He barked orders, and the crew responded with swift precision, their movements a testament to their loyalty and fear of the man who led them. The sky darkened, and a storm began to brew on the horizon. The sea roared, waves crashing against the hull with relentless fury. The Eclipse surged forward, driven by a force beyond its own power. As the storm closed in, the ship seemed to come alive, the wood groaning and creaking as if in pain. Suddenly, the sky was rent by a blinding flash of lightning, and the air was filled with a deafening roar. The ship shuddered, and a sense of impending doom gripped my heart. The sailors' faces twisted in terror, and chaos erupted on deck. Amidst the turmoil, a figure appeared, cloaked in shadows. It moved with a fluid grace, its presence sending a chill through the air. The sailors recoiled in fear, and even Captain Reed seemed momentarily paralyzed by the sight. The figure approached the helm, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. It raised a hand, and the storm intensified, the wind howling like a banshee. The ship groaned, the wood splintering and cracking under the strain. In a voice that seemed to echo from the depths of the abyss, the figure spoke. "The Eclipse is mine. Her fate is sealed." With a final, deafening crack, the ship was torn asunder, and I was thrown back into the chamber, gasping for breath. The old man stood beside me, his eyes filled with a mixture of sadness and resignation. "You have seen the truth," he said softly. "The Eclipse was cursed, doomed to sail the seas for eternity. Her crew is bound to her, their souls trapped in an endless cycle of torment." "But why?" I asked, my voice trembling. "What happened to them?" The old man sighed, his shoulders sagging under the weight of his burden. "Captain Reed made a deal with the darkness, a pact that promised power and wealth beyond his wildest dreams. But the price was the souls of his crew and the eternal damnation of the Eclipse. The figure you saw was the embodiment of that darkness, come to claim what was promised." A sense of horror and sorrow washed over me, and I felt the weight of the Eclipse's fate pressing down upon my soul. The old man placed a hand on my shoulder, his grip firm and reassuring. "You have been chosen," he said, "to bear witness to the truth and to break the curse. Only by uncovering the secrets of the Eclipse and confronting the darkness can you free the souls trapped aboard her." As his words sank in, a newfound determination took hold of me. I knew that my life would never be the same, that I was now bound to the fate of the Eclipse and her crew. But I also knew that I had been given a purpose, a chance to make a difference in a world that had long since forgotten me. With a final, lingering look at the mirror, I turned to the old man. What must I do? He smiled, a flicker of hope in his eyes. "The journey will be perilous and the path unclear. But you are not alone. The souls of the Eclipse will guide you, and the strength of your resolve will light the way. Trust in yourself and in the truth you have seen. Together we will break the curse and set the spirits free." As I stepped back onto the deck of the ghost ship, I felt a sense of purpose and resolve unlike any I had ever known. The journey ahead would be fraught with danger and uncertainty, but I was ready to face it, to uncover the secrets of the Eclipse and confront the darkness that held her in its grasp. With the old man by my side and the whispers of the past guiding me, I set sail into the unknown, determined to break the curse and bring peace to the restless souls of the Ghost Ship of Malacca. The old man, whose identity as Captain Nathaniel Reed seemed increasingly probable, handed me a tattered map. "This will guide you," he said, his voice steady. "Each mark represents a step towards understanding and breaking the curse. But be wary. The darkness will resist." The map led us to an ancient chest hidden deep within the ship's hold. Its contents were artifacts from the Eclipse voyages, treasures from distant lands, strange idols, and a journal bound in cracked leather. Captain Reed opened the journal, revealing pages filled with cryptic symbols and fragmented accounts of their journey. "This journal was my undoing," Reed confessed. "Within its pages lies the pact I made with the darkness. Deciphering it will reveal how to break the curse." I took the journal, feeling the weight of its importance. The symbols swirled before my eyes, but the whispers of the trapped souls grew louder, guiding my thoughts. With each passage I deciphered, a piece of the puzzle fell into place. The crew had been condemned to eternal unrest because Reed had sought forbidden knowledge and power from an ancient sea deity. The final entry described a ritual that could sever the bond between the cliffs and the darkness. We needed to gather specific items from the ship's storied past and perform the ritual at the very heart of the ship where the pact had been made. As we gathered the artifacts, a compass that always pointed north, a dagger of obsidian, and a chalice of silver, I could feel the darkness growing restless. The ship groaned and shuddered, and shadows seemed to crawl across the souls of the crew whispered their support, their presence a comforting warmth against the encroaching. With the items assembled, we descended to the deepest part of the ship, a chamber lined with bones and lit by an eerie, otherworldly glow. At its center was a stone altar, its surface inscribed with the same symbols from the journal. I placed the artifacts on the altar and began the incantation. The air grew thick with tension, the ship creaking and moaning as if alive. The shadows coalesced, forming the shape of the dark figure from my vision. It loomed over us, its eyes burning with malevolent intent. "Your time is over, Reed," it hissed. "The Meeclips and her crew are mine." Captain Reed stood firm, his face set with determination. "Not anymore. We break the pact here and now." With a final resonant chant, I plunged the obsidian dagger into the altar. The chamber exploded with light, the darkness recoiling with a scream that seemed to shake the very foundation of the ship. The shadows writhed and twisted before dissipating into the... The ship groaned one last time before falling silent. The oppressive cold lifted, replaced by a warm, gentle breeze. The souls of the crew appeared around us, their faces serene and free from the torment that had bound them for centuries. "Thank you," they whispered, their voices a harmonious chorus. "You have set us free." Captain Reed turned to me, his expression one of profound relief. "You did it." As the spirits faded into the light, the ship began to dissolve, the ancient wood turning to dust and drifting away on the wind. The Eclipse was no more, her long and tortured journey finally at an end. The old man, Captain Reed, smiled sadly as he too began to fade. "My time has come. Thank you for giving me the chance to make things right. Remember the stories and let them be a warning." With that, he vanished, leaving me alone on the calm waters of the Malacca Straits. The fog lifted, revealing the sun rising on a new day. I knew my life would never be the same. The experiences aboard the Ghost Ship of Malacca etched into my soul. I returned to Kuala Lumpur, my mind buzzing with the story that needed to be told. The tale of the Eclipse, her cursed crew, and the darkness that nearly consumed them would serve as a testament to the power of redemption and the enduring strength of the human spirit. My career as a journalist would find new life in these words, the ghosts of the past guiding my pen as I wrote their story. And as the final lines took shape, I felt a sense of peace, knowing that the Eclipse and her crew had found their rest, and their tale would inspire awe and caution for generations to come.